All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see by the title and the thumbnail, he asked the CDCR for protection and they allowed the unthinkable to happen.
Welcome back to Broken Bobby's transformation page. In the late 80s, I became involved with drugs and would eventually become part of that lifestyle of trafficking, addiction, and violence. Over the next 20 years, I would be in and out of jail and prison. If you're thinking about trying something or you're dealing with addiction, your life don't need to go down the same path mine did. I hurt a lot of people, both physically and emotionally. These are my stories of how I transformed my life, and you can too.
All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. So, as you can see by the title and the thumbnail, he asked CDCR for protection and they allowed the unthinkable to happen. Now, this was an incident that happened recently in Salinas Valley State Prison. And I'm going to read some of this from the article that was released by the CDCR. And stick with me on this one, though, because it's got a twist at the end. And yeah, just stick with me on it. So if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit that like button. Drop a comment. Share the video. Hit that notification bell so that anytime I drop a new video or I go live, you will be notified. I typically do lives on the weekend, and they've been really live lately. So I really focus on the sobriety part on the weekend. So be sure to join me for those. So let's get into this. As per the CDCR press release, at 10:45 a.m. on September 30th, 2024, officers were conducting security rounds and approached a cell occupied by Colin Herbert and Jesse Hernandez. I'll put some pictures up. The officer observed Herbert unresponsive in his cell and immediately called for medical assistance. Life-saving measures were initiated and he was pronounced deceased at 10:58. Now, before I go any further, I want to say that's really fast. Typically, when there is violence that occurs in a cell and you have an aggressor and a victim, what they're going to do is they're going to have the person who's assumed to be the aggressor cuff up and remove them from the cell before they come in and start their life-saving measures, as they put it. So to be able to pronounce him in 13 minutes by a doctor, an institutional doctor, that's pretty incredible. I don't know if they're messing with the numbers there or what's going on, but yeah, that's what they're claiming. So anyways, Mr. Hernandez was placed in the restrictive housing unit pending an investigation by Salinas Valley State Prison, ISU, and the Monterey County District Attorney's Office. Officers recovered one inmate manufactured weapon at the scene. Now, that's interesting, too, in my opinion, because if they were able to pronounce him that quickly, I'm thinking he was probably deceased for a while. Why did he hold on to the piece? Unless it was just a big old giant bone crusher and there was nothing he can do. But a lot of times when they're smaller ones, you're going to flush it. So, yeah, I don't know. That's a bit peculiar to me, but that's what the article says. So let's get into a little bit of history on these guys. As per the article, Herbert, Colin Herbert, the victim, 36 years old, was most recently received from Riverside County on June 11, 2013 to serve life without parole for attempted first-degree unaliving with enhancements for intentional discharge of a firearm causing great bodily injury or death. While incarcerated, he received an additional 8-year sentence for assault with a deadly weapon, with a inmate manufactured weapon, as a second striker in prison. So what it comes down to is neither one of these dudes were angels, you know what I mean? But that doesn't mean that anybody should lose their life, especially under these circumstances. And like I said, stick with me. We'll get to that twist here in a few minutes. So Mr. Hernandez, Jesse Hernandez, 38, was received from LA County on July 22nd, 2004 to serve life without parole for second-degree murder and attempted second-degree murder with enhancements for use of a firearm. You know, I always found that funny. Sorry, this fly driving me crazy over here. But I always found that funny that they charge you with unaliving someone and then they add an enhancement for use of a firearm. You know, I mean, how often do you hear of somebody being unalived without a weapon? So it's almost like they're double dipping on the charges there. And, you know, that's California for you, though. You know, I mean, I'm not going to get into the politics of that, though. But while he was incarcerated, he received a 12-year sentence from Monterey County on April 12, 2023 for assault with a deadly weapon on a prisoner with a weapon. So, like I said, both of these guys, neither one of them were angels. It's an unfortunate thing that happens in the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitations way too often, unfortunately. And, you know, that's the state of prison these days, you know. Now, why this happened, I don't know. It doesn't state that. But one thing I was able to see on this, on Hector Bravo's channel, I believe it's called That Prison Guard. Hector Bravo, who is an ex-prison guard. He was a guard, a sergeant, and a lieutenant, and still has quite a few connections in the Department of Corrections. And Hector Bravo stated that Herbert, the victim, Colin Herbert, had requested protective custody, or SNY, and was denied by staff. Told to basically take it back to your house. Now, this is very problematic. You know, the thing is, obviously, Mr. Herbert, if this is true, obviously Mr. Herbert knew that there was an issue. And the thing is, when you're in prison, the thing is, everything is routine. Everything is program, right? You have a program from the time you get up to the time you go to bed, basically. And, you know, when you're out on the yard, everything is routine. You're going to see certain people over here playing handball. You're going to see certain people over here, you know, doing their pull-ups or their dips or whatever it may be. Everything is a routine. And when, you know, if you're on the yard long enough, you know when something is unusual. And, you know, the thing is, maybe he felt it. Maybe he was being ostracized by some of his homeboys, and he realized that he had a problem. Now, you know, did he get caught up in politics? Perhaps. Is it a possibility that maybe he ran up a debt and he knew that he was going to have problems? That could be a possibility too. I don't want to speculate on that, but, you know, a lot of times when people know that, you know, their career basically is over and that, you know, the boys are going to be coming for you soon, they will request protective custody. And, you know, that's the CDCR's job, is to make sure that, you know, we're as safe as we can be while we're in custody. We are their responsibility. And the CDCR dropped the ball on this one, if what Hector Bravo said is true. If I were his family, I would be contacting an attorney for sure. I do want to say I want to send my condolences to Mr. Herbert's family. This is one of those unfortunate things where, they were both lifers, but the thing is, lifers are coming home now. And, Mr. Hernandez has been down for 20 years. Mr. Herbert had been down, let me take a look at my notes here real quick. He had been down for 11 years. So based on the way they're doing things in the CDCR now, they both had a shot at getting home. I would say Mr. Hernandez, being 20 years in already, was a lot closer than Mr. Herbert was. But this is what prison is. And these are the kind of things that happen in prison these days. So, honestly, 70% of the California prison population are addicted to drugs or have been addicted to drugs. Maybe not now, but drug use is rampant in prison. And, a lot of this stuff stems from that. I'm not insinuating by any means that that's what this was, because I don't know. But, if you're using, eventually this is what ends up happening, guys. You end up going to prison, and a lot of us feel like we're predestined to go there. But you're not. You want to get your name out there in the streets and stuff, but what does that get you, really? You can say this is my hood over here or whatever. If you don't own it, then is it really? I mean, what are we doing, So, that's my video for the day. Like I said, once again, my condolences go out to Mr. Herbert's family. And I would definitely be contacting an attorney if I were you. It's just a bad situation all the way around. If they indeed did deny him protective custody, then, I hope the family gets millions. It don't replace your loved one, but make them pay. Because this seems to be what CDCR is doing these days. They're trying to make all the yards, non-designated. And, they just, ever since the end of hostilities agreement, you don't see these big riots and stuff, so they're not getting their hazard pay and all that stuff that they used to get. So it's almost as if they kind of stirred the pot a little bit at times so that they can lock the place down and get their hazard pay. So I'm sure the group that these two were involved with is on lockdown over this, and, that's crazy to me. But, that's why I preach. It's all about sobriety, guys. You don't want to let your habits lead you to places like this, because it never ends well. And, the thing is, when you go to prison, even if you don't get involved with the politics, you're going to see a lot of things that you can't unsee. And, save yourself the hardship of that and those mental images that you can never get rid of. So, I hope everybody had a great week. It's almost time to get this weekend started. And, it's all about the company that you keep. I say that over and over, but it's the truth. If you hang around a bunch of people that are heading for prison, chances are you're going to be too. and that starts with the addiction and alcoholism and all of that sort of stuff. So anyways, if you are new to the channel and you enjoy this sort of content, be sure to subscribe. Do me a favor, hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. Drop a comment and tell me what you think. I read all the comments, and I do my best to respond to as many as I can. So keep the comments coming. Also share the video. It helps to get the message out. Also hit that notification bell so that when I go live this weekend, you will be notified and you can hop on and partake in the live. Also, you can become a member of the channel. Hit that join button and check out the different levels of membership. And don't look at the mountain. Just start climbing.